Cyclists, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be setting up my February plan with me. This time, I didn't really have as concrete of an idea of what I wanted to do, but then last night I actually decided to just keep it simple, and I was going to do a Google theme. I felt like this would make it very easy because literally it's just, doing the color pattern of the word Google and then having search engine stuff. But I feel like I was able, with the simple theme and minimal doodles and stuff, to still be able to make it look really cool. And I really like how it turned out. So right now I'm just filling in the pattern. For Google, there are 6 letters in Google, and so February has more letters, so I had to sort of extend the pattern. And as you'll see with some of the other words that I'm using this pattern for, I had to just extend the pattern a bit. But right now I'm just outlining it with a regular ballpoint pen, and that'll be the end of the cover page. This is probably one of the simplest cover pages I've ever done, but honestly I think it works really well. A lot of times I feel like I'm not using enough of the space, or there's too much white space on the page, but I feel like with this theme it really suits it, and it's just really simple and clean, and it's just not really my typical style. But on the left side of the spread, I am doing my monthly challenge. And at this point, I don't really know what my monthly challenge is going to be. So I didn't want to make it too specific or anything. Last month, if y'all saw my January plan with me, I did a sort of grid style. So I would just have a box for each day. And if I completed my challenge, I will color it in. But I don't know what I want this challenge to be, so I ended up just doing a search bar and then a drop down menu. So each line is going to be one day of the month, and I guess I'll fill in whatever I need to fill in for that. But I really like how it turned out. I think it's really simple, and I actually didn't plan out the amount of spaces I had at the bottom, so I sort of just by luck happened to have exactly 28 spaces under that search bar, which is probably the luckiest I've ever been in bullet journaling, let's be honest. I feel like every month I mess up a spread or miscount or do something wrong, and as you'll see later, that trend continues. But yeah, I'm just sort of filling in that color pattern again with this. As I was going in, I was sort of experimenting with, should I put the color down first and then outline with the pen, or should I outline and then color it in? And I think at the end, I've tried a couple different things, and I think it's better to do the outline in pencil, color it in, and then do an outline in pen, because if not, the pen can get sort of hidden behind the color, and then the outline is not really there. So now I'm moving on to my February calendar. I actually start up school in the end of January, so I figured having a half spread calendar like I did in January just wouldn't be enough. So I did a full 2-page spread, and this one turned out super, super simple. I honestly think it may be too simple. But I'm just sort of outlining the boxes for the calendars, and then where I put the headers for the day of the week, I also added a little X in red, which you'll see in a second. But I think that just sort of adds to the internet theme, and I think it's a nice simple little detail. I think really for this, it's the details and the simple things that really make it feel like a Google theme or an internet theme, because it's it's very clean, so you have to make sure it's really clean there. But here I go, I'm adding in those X's. And since February is a shorter month, I had to make the boxes for each of the days a little bit bigger, just so it filled out the page nicely, which honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to need all of that space, but I think that it worked out pretty well. And I decided for the header, I wasn't going to write out all of February, but instead I just wrote Feb in that little, space that I had in there, which I think makes it look kind of nice, and it kind of reminds me of acronyms and stuff. But there I go again, coloring in the outline. And that is going to be it for this monthly spread. Like I said, it was really simple. I'm honestly debating going in there and adding something else to it, but I don't really know what I would add. So if you guys have any suggestions, comment below. And here is where I messed up big time. I ended up accidentally smearing the red in February, but I'm going to go back off camera and fix that with some whiteout. Now I'm on to my habit tracker, my regular tracking, not just for my monthly challenge, but just for regular stuff. So if you're new here, what I track are my steps, my period, my workout sessions, my meals, and my budget. So, how much I spend or get in a month, and then what meals I'm having every day. And then again, since February has less days in the month in general, I decided to do something interesting where instead of putting the headers for each of the boxes right above the boxes like I normally would, I put them sort of at the top. So it's sort of when you go on the Google homepage, it's images, news, video, all sort of categories and stuff like that, which I thought was like a neat little idea. And I didn't even plan it out ahead of time. I was just like, oh, I think that'd be a cool idea. And then while I was outlining, I just sort of like wrote it down. And then in the corner, I just added like a little icon, S for song cycle, just to sort of give it a little bit more dimension to the page. But now we are on to the right side of the spread, and this is going to be my playlist spread for the month. So if you're new here, I basically track all of the new songs that I've listened to in that month, or in this case, as you'll see for January, I had a lot of podcasts that I ended up listening to. So just any new like media that I've been listening to lately, and I put it on this spread. And I continued with that sort of color pattern, and then I added little like magnifying glasses on each of the lines. And so that would be like the search bar, and I would have the different songs that I wrote there. So hopefully I can keep up with that throughout the month and, draw the magnifying glass every time I want to add a song. But something that I added because I got in January this really cool collage paper pack from a friend of mine. So I added these little boxes and just little like words with cursive to sort of be like ads on the side of the page. I really like the inclusion, and I did mess up and sort of add glue everywhere. I recommend if you're doing something like this, glue the paper itself and not like the book, the bullet journal, and that way it'll stick on exactly where you want it to go, and you don't have any overlap with the glue, because then it'll make the page all sticky. And that's what I've been experiencing with this, is that the pages sort of stick together. I don't really have a solution for this yet. If somebody has a solution for like getting glue off of a paper and making it less sticky, let me know, because I've been struggling that my entire life. But yeah, so I wanted it to be sort of like ad boxes on the side of the page, and I think it really adds to the color and makes it a little less simple. I ended up adding little X's on the top just to be like the menus that you can get rid of the ads for, and I really like how this turned out. I was thinking that I wished that I'd had it on more of the spreads, but that I didn't really know where I would put it. Maybe I could put it somewhere on here or the calendar, but I'll have to do that off camera. And finally, for the last spread of this video, I'm doing my 2 lines a day section. So basically what I used to do is I used to have a monthly calendar and like monthly spreads that I've shown in this video, but then I would have a box for every single day of the week that I would just sort of recap, and I felt like that was a lot to keep up with. So I feel like switching to this 2 lines a day thing, which I've been doing this year, has been a lot more helpful, because one, I can still track what I'm doing every day, and it's a fun like little way to look back on the memories of what I was doing on certain days. But 2, it feels like a lot less work to keep up with because it's only 2 lines. So I don't have to write like a whole paragraph about what I did that day or journal every single day. I feel like that's a lot to keep up with, and it also made me demotivated when it came, like if I missed a day or was busy. One of the things though that I wish I'd done, because the craft paper on the other side made the lines really janky for this part of the spread, so I sort of wish I'd added the lines in first and then waited till the very end to do craft paper. But I think all in all it still looks decent. Like, it's not gonna distract me that much, but I recommend if you're trying to recreate this or doing something with craft paper to save the craft paper till the very end. That way you can get nice clean lines. And I went in with that pattern and just started adding in the numbers and days of the week. I felt like this was really difficult because I had to, one, keep track of what number I was on, what day of the week that corresponded to, and keep track of the color pattern. So it took me a lot longer than I expected. I guess my concentration was just off, but trying to figure all of that out. But I really like how it turned out. I just love this sort of color pattern. It feels very bright. It feels very like exciting, and I feel like I'm excited to actually start using these spreads for February. I know bullet journaling is something that I very recently added onto my channel, but it's one of my favorite hobbies outside of, recording music and talking about music. So if you guys enjoy the bullet journal content, feel free to give it a like so I know, and comment some bullet journal ideas if you have any. I'm always looking for new ideas. But here we go to the final flip through. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had a blast filming it. And again, subscribe, hit the notification bell to know when I post a new upload. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.